talking, Mr. Mike Linden.
You know, when I scheduled this, no one told me there was a Canadian holiday this weekend. So this was the Friday before an American holiday. It would be tough to get a crowd in as well, so I really do applaud you. Because like most of you are what? Taking the afternoon off, am I right? Because you've got a 3-day weekend. No, sir, you're working the whole day? It would be nice, nice to know that. I'm working the day too. If I made it today, I'll be using acronyms, if that's A-okay with you. But one of the things I do is sell. I'm proud of it. I wrote a book about it. It focuses on what I do. I sell B2B, business to business. Many of you in this room sell a product that's B2C, business to consumer. And many of you in this room are an SMB. That acronym is in vogue. Barack Obama's press secretary used it, one of those talking head shows about 6 weeks ago in the United States of America. We have an issue down there called our economy. Would everybody please say duh? And he was saying how the federal government had finally realized that they need to grow small, medium-sized businesses in order to drive the economy. That is a big duh, don't you agree? I mean, we all are realizing that's where it's heading. So I own one too. I'm an SMB. I have 5.5 employees. I live out of Tampa Bay, Florida. I travel extensively to do my job. I clocked 160,000 miles this year. 3 weeks ago, I did the same speech in Shepparton, Australia, and I got it booked in 2 weeks in Saudi Arabia. So it's not just North America, I'm all over the world doing it. However, now in my travels, I've decided to be an evangelist and apologize to you for how obnoxious we have screwed up the world. So isn't it funny? We are the world's largest economy. We have no idea what we're doing down there, and when we sneeze, everybody else gets a cold. Do we agree? So my apologies on behalf of our country for how stupid we are right now. However, it has been a tough recession for us. You guys are much luckier than us. This gentleman, I forgot your name, sir. I'm so sorry. Rob, you asked me about Florida, where I live. We are the last state to recover in the United States. We still have about an 8.5% unemployment down there. And housing values are still at a rock bottom low. That's, by the way, many Canadians are investing in Florida right now. We got a lot of your money. Thank you. We appreciate that. But it's been a real tough recession. You guys are doing much better than us up here. You have a lot more resources working for you. Congratulations. Your province is doing well. But if you're like me, when 2008 hit, remember that? That's the big down. You found yourself working 3 times as hard for the same money. Then we're going through this wimpy recovery right now. I'll get into marketing in a moment. I just want to stay a little ethereal way up here and talk about down economies. I'm 56 years old, so this is my 4th down economy, and I remember the 80s. You wouldn't, you're too young for that. The 1980s were worse than this. I remember then what it proved today. Down economies mean this to me. When markets don't expand quick enough, you start becoming aggressive. You fight over your piece of the pie. If I may be so bold, I love my family, I cherish my friends, but today when it comes to business, I'm vicious. It's either me or my competitor. There's only so much money going around. As a matter of fact, in 1977, I took a class at George Washington University called Art of War. This was a book written 2,000 years ago by a Chinese warrior named Sun Tzu. He actually wrote it on parchment. And back in the 60s, Jack Welch, who was CEO of GE, discovered it. It had been around for a while. Suddenly, he made all his executives read it, and it was in vogue in the 70s. But I dusted off my copy because I believe I'm at war right now. Matter of fact, I think you are as well. There's money being spent, but can we be aggressive today? Everybody say yes. Yes. So let's be aggressive marketers today. And aggressive means marketing. Of course, Mitzi here would like me to say, put all your money in the newspaper. I already said it, so I did your commercial. But the truth is, market. 6% of gross sales is the average in North America for an SMB right now. I spend about 6.2%. I think you should track it. That's everything, guys. That's radio, television, direct mail, newspapers, and digital, but it's also your signage, letterhead, business cards, the shirts with the logos, which I agree with, and all the other forms of marketing. Maybe you pay someone to be dress up and put an arrow in their hand on the street, but that's still marketing. When the recession hit and things got a little tough, a lot of businesses slashed that. Don't. Let me be very clear about something that has been proven in so many ways, that when things get a little tough, businesses that market through it do better. Businesses that don't do worse. This is exactly what happened back in the 80s and the recession in the 90s, and happened again here. And I've seen a lot of research on it, and I'll prove it. I want to take you to Florida, where I live, and introduce you to my Blinder family. May I do so? Would you like to meet the clan? Say yes.
Yes.
Say ah. Somebody in this room has realized this interesting phenomena that I am 56 with a 10-year-old daughter. That's a completely different story. I'll tell you about that later. But we're going to focus on my bride, Robin, who, when 2008 hit in the United States and everything went south, she changed her personality. And this is actually a phenomenon around the world now we're reading about called frugal fatigue. That's what this PhD from Harvard calls it now. Robin became frugal but proud of it. She would have a deal and then brag about it on her Facebook page. And I analyzed this phenomena with her. See, squeezing dollars is fun. By the way, she joined a clan back then you may have heard of called Groupon. Does this ring a bell? Groupon came up during 2008. We call it media daily dealing. What it means is that this culture is desperately looking for deals. But it's not just Groupon, that's the digital. This is her on Sunday. I left for this road trip on Sunday. I spent 2 days in Virginia, North Carolina doing the same speech, then shot up here and I go home tomorrow on an early flight. But when I left, I had to take a quick picture. I said, hold on, sweetheart, click, and then I left, because this is the 60 Minutes on Sunday, her favorite moment. Cup of coffee, clipping coupons. Now the reason is first of all, she loves it. She lines them up to make her purchases, but if you analyze this phenomenon, it means my wife, when I come home, will have new products in the house, not based on loyalty, but based on value. Does this make sense? In other words, in the Blinder family, my wife has lost all semblance of brand loyalty. And to prove it to you, these guys have it down to a science. You don't see or hear marketing anymore from Burger King or McDonald's, those are the two biggies we've got, on how good the burger tastes anymore. What you hear is dollar menus, value meals. What you hear is we call this in retail loss leader. And some of you know that expression. It means you're willing to sell something at a loss in order to steal a customer, and that new customer has value to you. I have a new term for it. I do lectures on this around the world. I call it the ethical bribe. You see, we're going to get into who your customers are because they're smart now. They're researching you. And you have to ethically bribe them. You bribe them and they'll change buying habits. These guys are the king of it, at least in North America. They killed a company called Pennies by ethically bribing you to shop their business. One new customer at Walmart could be worth $65,000 of lifetime sales, and they bribe you to come in and then hopefully give you a good shopping experience. If you come to Florida now, sir, I know you travel there a bit, you'll notice that every street corner you go to now is named the same. But correct me if I'm wrong, and I studied them because they're very smart marketers. They're extremely smart marketers, and I know I've been doing a lot of studying of them. But down in this chain, they bribe you to come in through loss leaders. Milk, egg, pop, like a commodity. And it's always in the back of the store. I see heads on it because they do it the same way. Back of the store as you walk through the impulse items to get there. But at my Walgreens, and I know they're doing it at your drugstore chains as well, I have to, or they scream at me, or they lock the door and wrestle me to the ground, input my phone number at point of purchase, or swipe what's called a loyalty card. Now, why are we analyzing this is because if you agree with my premise that there's absolutely no brand loyalty, you must create customer loyalty. In other words, we can steal the customer for you in media. We're good at that. Can you keep them? That's your job. And that's why you see all these loyalty programs. There's an acronym for this. Many of you in this room who do marketing have heard of it. It's called CRM. Whenever you see these programs, the guys who are running it are saying we're running a CRM. It stands for Customer Relationship Management. When I fly home tomorrow on Delta, I'm sitting in first class. Doesn't mean I paid for that ticket. It means they're offering me a loyalty reward because they know it costs more to get me than to keep me. I hope I'm making sense. Internet, that's why I'm going to spend some time discussing digital, is real important in CRM right now. I hopefully will lead you on that journey before we should stay with media in general, which became massively confusing. Do you agree?